everyone. It's Jeanette Johnson, the booked agent.
And I'm Jackie Pedroza Alvarez. I'm also an agent.
Awesome. And then welcome to the book club. So today we're doing things a little bit different. Today is going to be bring your favorite book to work day. So me and Jackie are real estate agents, and we're here at the office, and we have been chatting for weeks about our favorite books, and now she's sending me TikToks, so I think I've gotten her like hooked onto the book train. So I was like, you know what, come into the studio, let's sell each other on our favorite fantasy book series, and we'll see if it gets the other person to put it in the cart and get into it. So let's start with you, Jackie, because I can rant all day about my favorite book series. So go ahead.
Okay, so definitely want to start by saying clarification. This book is by Leigh Bardugo, and I will read anything that she writes. I was first introduced with her with the Grishaverse series, the original Shadow and Bone trilogy. With that series, and then I went over to the Six of Crows trilogy, and then King of Scars. Sorry. Anything she writes, I'm gonna devour. She could write a grocery list. I'm there. But this is her first step into the adult fantasy, which means that everything was different completely.
So we've got some spice in there. We've got some action.
Yeah, there's action. There's like a murder mystery.
Ooh.
There's dark themes. There's light commentary on like Yale elitism, because it takes place in Yale.
Okay.
Mostly.
So is it academia, like dark academia?
For sure. Like it's like, I would say spooky season, like fall read. I would say like curl up on a rainy day. Maybe there's a fog and you're just like in a blanket and you're
what if
just
spooky season is like my year round?
Okay, then perfect.
What if, like,
just pick a rainy day.
Or my year round reads.
right now Georgia's doing that thing with the fake spring.
Where you're like,
just
you don't know what weather it is.
Yeah, just look at the weather in the morning and just decide there.
Right.
It's so good. It's so good, and it's so like, okay, there's fantasy, there's occult, there's like magic, there's like, okay, so the book is called Ninth House.
Okay.
Because at Yale, there's different houses, and each one has like different like magical responsibilities, right? And there's like occultism going on. There's forbidden magic, dark magic. There's all of those things going on. And the ninth house, the eighth house, is in charge of regulating them, is in charge of sitting in at their rituals and making sure that they're not blurring the lines into like messing with like permanent effects on the town folks, or like, just making sure everyone stays in check. You're not, inviting scrutiny, all of that.
Okay.
And so they're basically each generation, I guess, of like the ninth house, every 3 years there's a new like incoming person that's going to take over. So the third year person, they're called a Virgil, and the first year that's coming in to kind of like be their apprentice is called their Dante. So Dante's Inferno,
Okay.
By the way, endorsement by Stephen King.
Yes.
First of all.
So it has to be. So it must be dark.
Yes.
It must be dark. Okay. So it's more like thriller, fantasy, dark academia. Is there romance?
There is.
Okay, sold.
Okay.
I mean,
let me tell you, in the fan edits, because you have to have fan edits. The main character, her name is Alex Stern. Her first name, Galaxy Alex Stern, of course. And her love interest is Daniel Arlington, a.k.a. Darlington, because of course. And literally, they're called in like the fan edits because you'll find this out later, right? Spoilers. Preface here.
if you want to read this book, Ninth House, please pause. Maybe fast forward till we get to my series, because spoilers are about to happen.
She's called a wheel walker.
Okay.
And so at some point, he gets referred to as her gentleman demon.
Oh, so he's like a dark shadow guy.
But like, does she know that at this point? Does he know that at this point? There's so much to discover, and there's so many plot twists, and you're like, for sure, because there's a whodunit element to it. And you're like, for sure it was this guy. And then you're like, no, it has to be this guy. It has to be this and this and this and this. And you're just like, what is going on?
Does it end on a cliffhanger?
It ends more on like a call to adventure. Like, okay, we have our next mission. We have to go do this.
Okay.
And the second book is already out. It's called Hellbent.
Ooh.
And that gives you a little clue of where we're going. It's so exciting.
So there's 2 books out.
Yes.
And is there, you said it might be a trilogy, right?
Yes.
That's how many are expected to be released.
I think she's confirmed that there will be, but she hasn't confirmed when. There was a 3-year pause between the first and second book.
Okay.
And so I think that she might be taking her time. She's known for that. But I was
It's always
told,
the good writers.
I know. She's excellent. If you want
forever to pump out these
God,
books.
yes. If you want witty banter, if you want tension in
Okay, it's kind of reminding me right
good.
now. I'm reading Zodiac Academy. I don't know if you've ever read that or heard of it or anything. And this has nothing to do with the series that I'm about to introduce you to. But that series is like blowing me out of my water, like blowing me out of the water. And it's like so corny and cheesy, but it's funny and it's dark academia and it's fantasy and magic. And they're in this school, you know what I mean? And they're power wars, like all of this different stuff. So it's giving me that vibe. And if I am as obsessed with Zodiac Academy as I am with what you're telling me that this book is about, I feel like I'm going to be sold, and it's probably going to end up in my Amazon cart after we leave here.
Okay, see, you just like, what is it called? You just like called the former Astro girly that I have been.
Yes.
Full disclaimer, I will do your birth chart.
Oh, I love that.
I would love to do that. That'd be so fun. But no, yeah, I'm just like, Zonia.
No, it is so good. Like, it is.
I'm literally a Cancer. Look at this.
I'm a Taurus.
I love you.
Look at us. That's why we're like clicking right now.
I adore that. Oh my gosh. I love Taurus.
No, I'm not like huge into all of the zodiacs, but I'm a big like believer in the signs for sure. And I definitely know we're compatible. So
okay, I love that. No, I was super antisocial in high school.
Really?
And, yeah, and I was like talking point.
I can read your chart.
I'm just like, when were you born?
They were like, okay.
Literally, I'm just like, you don't get it.
No, I think you would love this too then.
Yeah.
So I have 2 book series that you need to start then.
Awesome.
Zodiac Academy is like a life adventure though, because there's, I think, 12 books in total. So
That
there's
makes sense.
like 3 novellas, or I don't even know if they're considered novellas, but they're like 1.5s or like 0.5s because they're veering off from like a different POV. Mm-hmm. And then there's a spin-off series on the boys of the book series. Okay. So
it's giving Winx Club.
They're so, I mean, and I was just recently talking about it on TikTok because I'm like, y'all got me. Like, I saw it on TikTok and I've seen so many people who like similar books as me recommend Zodiac Academy. So I was like, I gotta start this and just see what it is, which totally messed up my like to be read this month because I had like a stack of books. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna read all of these, and then I was like, you know what? Let me just dabble in, and now I'm on the 4th book. Like I can't stop.
Oh my god, I love that. I love that.
But
so
it's
much.
so good. And if it's anything like this, I could assume I'll assume that this writing might be a little bit more detailed because she said she's really in depth. And then I'll see because I just got 6 of Crows and what was the other one?
Shadow and Bone.
Shadow and Bone. So I just got those and I'm excited to start it. So
oh my god, I think this even has a. Let me double check if it has a map. Look at this. Yes, there's a map.
Of course, yes.
I love a book with a map, and she loves writing a book with a map
too. And then there's magic.
Oh yeah, and it's like that. There's like that level of like elitism. That level of like, oh, I'm an outsider and they're judging me, and like I'm gonna critique. Like
I love it.
Just hire. Oh god, it's so good. It's
okay.
So good.
Let's show up this cover because first off, it's beautiful.
Yes.
And I'm a sucker for a cover. If your cover is pretty, I will read your book. If your cover is not pretty, I will probably not read your book, but I will consider it.
Yes. Yeah. No, she's great, and there like just I do want to preface like it gets dark. It gets dark. There's heavy themes, but
check your trigger warnings.
Yeah,
I assume.
But there is like a very like strong like female protagonist, and you know Leigh Bardugo has said like she doesn't want her to be viewed as like just this like flawed hero. Like she's like a true anti-hero. Like she has her own rebellious streak. She has her own thing. She's so real. Like she's so complex.
The female main character.
Yes, and it just makes her so like relatable, and I think it just makes her so like you just open the book and you're there.
And you're like, I want to be her.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to be her, but I definitely want to learn more about her.
I want to root for her, but I will stay as an observer.
Yeah, no, for sure she's got a lot going on. But for sure I want to hear more about what she's doing.
Well, we can just say this now. I'm definitely sold. That it seems like it's completely up my alley. I'm so glad you brought it to my attention because it's definitely going to add, I'm adding it to the list.
Yeah. I knew the gentleman demon would come in and be like,
And then once I'm done, I'll give you a nice little review and I'll be like, I love it. I love you.
Yes, if you can just give me like a live, I did this with my cousin when I was watching Attack on Titan for the first time. I was texting her the entire time. I'm just like, what is going on? I would appreciate that. I would want to know your experience.
I love, and that leads me into, my book series, which you all have probably seen me talk about 1,000,001 times, but... And this is the second book, so don't come for me. But this is my favorite book of the series. Okay. But we're talking about ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses, which is the name of the series and is the leading book of the series. And this is by Miss Sarah J. Maas. And I know you told me that you kind of have been introduced to this series, but you didn't really pick it up, haven't gone into it yet. And I just have to tell you, maybe I'm biased because it was my introduction into fantasy. And when I first started reading, I was reading a lot of romance. Okay. But this added a whole nother dimension to what romance is, because romance is very 1 and 2. It's one, you find the guy gets girl, they fall in love, something happens where they have to kind of call it off or it causes tension, and then they obviously live happily ever after, have kids, blah, blah, blah. This is oh no, guess what? We're going to have to face some demons in here. Okay. We've got some magic. We've got some world for you to discover. And you're just immersed into this whole experience that you're like, oh my goodness. I love Feyre. This girl was she's not technically an orphan, but she's practically orphaned because her mother had passed, and then her dad is just a no good type of guy. He was injured because he owed money to these debt collectors, and they came and smashed his leg, so he can't work. Okay. But he lost all of their fortune. They used to be rich, and so they lived in this cabin in the woods, her and her 2 sisters. And she, as the middle sister, decides that she's going to take the initiative to feed her family and keep them safe. So she's out there skinny as shit, fighting, trying to save them all. And all of her family's yeah, go ahead, Feyre, do you. And she encounters this wolf, and she's like, oh, okay, I can sell its hide, and then if I kill it, we have food, we have so much food for weeks, and you know what I mean, can really last us. So she ends up killing the wolf. All the while she's trying to get us to understand the world, so there's a lot of world building in the beginning.
Love that.
Not this book particularly, because this is the second one, but a lot of world building, so you have to understand what's going on. So they tell you the world of the Fae, which is called Perinthian. And then there's a line which divides the human realm and the Fae realm. And she was under the impression that maybe this wolf might have been Fae, but she was well, I was able to kill it, so we're good.
It's mine now.
So all the while, she sells the hide, she, feeds her sisters, and boom, this big old wolf comes, breaks into their house, and says, okay, you've broke the treaty against the humans in the Fae realm because you killed our Fae who did not attack you or anything like that, so you have to come live with me in the Fae realm, or basically I kill you now. And so she's oh my goodness, what do I do? She ends up going and living with him and discovering a whole new identity in that world. And the adventures, I would say, that you go on in this book series is incredible. Every book has its own little adventure. And from book 1 to book 2, it's very high romance in book 2, I would say. Book 1 is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. Oh, okay. So when she goes to Perinthian to live in the Spring Court with the fairy who grabbed her, his name is Tamlin. He has a mask on his face, and he has some blight is basically caused them to have a spell that needs to be broken, and they have these masks. They can't take them off.
And she's have love, true love.
And she's well, actually, she basically is peace out, you know what I mean? But she does end up falling in love with him. So, spoiler, if you want to know, she does end up falling in love with him. But you're in that first book, you're oh my goodness, she's so courageous. She does all this stuff for her family. I just love it. And the way it ends, you're yes, go Feyre, her and Tamlin forever. And then book 2 comes, and you're just Sarah, I have never started a book where I was I know what you're trying to do here. you're trying to do a switch up. And the way I was gaslit in book 1, and then I go into book 2 and I'm like, who and what and how is going on?
I love a plot twist. I love a plot twist.
Like super plot twist. And you're like, what? And you start learning so much more about Prythian and the courts, and you start falling in love with different characters.
Okay.
And like I said, it's just an adventure. Okay. Now, the one thing... No, go ahead.
But so the first book is A Court of Thorn and Roses?
Yes.
And so this one is A Court of Mist and Fury. Are they, like, physical courts that, like, she's going into?
There's 7 courts of Prythian. Okay. And there's the night court, the day court, the dawn court, the autumn court, the spring court. What did I miss?
Summer and fall?
Summer. Yeah, exactly. There we go.
Winter.
Yes, winter and summer. Okay. So there is 7 high fae rulers of these courts. Okay. So Tamlin is one of the high fae and the ruler of the spring court. Okay. And then you're introduced to the night court, whom you're kind of introduced to them in book 1 in A Court of Thorns and Roses. But in book 2, you're really like getting to uncover what the night court is. And it's got a lot of layers to it. You fall in love with it. Like, I'm a huge night court lover, and my favorite MMC in all existence is in this book. Yeah. And I don't know what it is, but you just like read his lines and you're like, he's so smooth. He's so everything. Like,
I love a
smooth talker. Like somebody who like
in fiction.
To clarify, fiction only. Do not try me in the real world.
I will not.
That's actually hilarious because some of these books, I'm like, that guy would have gotten punched in the real world. But in this book,
I'd be like,
in this book, game.
It's because in the books, there's like the layer that makes it acceptable. But in real life, I'm just like, oh, you're going to say that to me in sneakers? Like,
exactly. And those sneakers at that? Like, get out of here.
I'm like, sir, what's the Abercrombie t-shirt?
These smooth talkers at least are always like,
I can't.
Bagged. Like, they always have so much money and like wealth, and I just don't know where they get it from, but they're always just like so smooth. You know what I mean?
But I mean, I just feel like the seeing them in like, I'm imagining like a flowy peasant top. I feel like that changes the dynamic. I'm just like some guy coming up to you like backwards hat, like
hey, like hey, so you me. I'm like no,
just like get out. I'm gonna pepper spray you. Like,
absolutely not. So yeah, there's no. This is I would say more light to your dark on this side, but there is some plot twists. There's obviously a lot of action, and then there's a bit of spice and romance. And then if you like a good in-depth world building story, I feel like Sarah does that really well in her books. And I just finished Throne of Glass, which is another one of her book series, which is honestly, in my opinion, not even comparable to this. They're so different in their approach. And the stories are very different, but even though there's actually a very hint in the last book of Throne of Glass that hints to this series. And I noticed it and I was like, note.
Are they going to intersect?
Well, see, I haven't started her Crescent series, her Crescent City series yet, and I've been told that intersects well with Akhtar. So
they all sound so familiar. I feel like I've been on the side of Book Talk where these discussions are being had, but in terms of like ranking books and discussing them. But it's like it's just went like over my head. And so I've just been like, cool.
Haven't picked it up. But the reason why I did recommend this, not only because it is my favorite book of the series, but also because the first one is a bit slow. And I have been told that people couldn't get into it because they were like, I don't see what's going on. Like the first book truly doesn't pop off until like the last 100 pages. And then you're like, oh, because there's so much mystery going on in the first like. I'm sorry, I ate lunch before this, and I feel like I have food stuck in my teeth.
I don't see anything. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So the first 300 pages of the first book is just building the world, understanding the magic system, understanding who the Fae are, understanding what's going on, and then there's all of these side conversations. So you're trying to figure out what the heck is going on? What is the true reason they brought her into this world?
Ooh, there's ulterior motives.
Yes. So the last 100 pages pops off, and you're like, I have to start the next book. Like, you immediately, I think I literally finished it, put it down, grabbed the next book, and started it.
Okay, I love that. I love that so much because that's how I felt with her Grisha Verse series. That's how I felt with Six of Crows especially.
Really?
Oh, no, I'm so excited. When you read Six of Crows, let me know because the characters in that book, because there's like not just one main character. Yeah. It's like multiple POVs. Oh, another thing about this book. It's one POV, however, she has flashbacks. Okay. So, like, it'll be, like, one chapter kind of present day, and the last chapter will, like, be like, oh, here's some background on her.
Okay.
From, like, a few months prior. So, it's not like, you get some flashbacks from her, like, younger years, but most of them are, like, within a few months.
So, is she this is first person?
Yes.
And then her flashbacks are third person?
No, I think they're still first person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so she's just kind of, like, giving you, like, it's just her experience, like, her flashback of her memory. But it gives you some hints about who she is. It also leaves you with some questions. Okay. So you're just like, okay, what happened? Okay, what am I missing? And so it just goes by. Also, there's ghosts. Forgot to mention the fact that there's ghosts.
I'm hooked.
It's a big part of it.
I'm hooked. Yes. Like, I'm hooked.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be reading that for sure, 100%. And I think after I read it, I can give you some recommendations of some other fantasy books that might be more like, if you like this dark academia or like this just dark anything. Yeah. Because like this, like I said, it's not really dark. It's more heavy on the romance, but it does have a lot of fantasy in there, and there's a lot of, complexities to the story. So it's great, but there's no dark messages.
Honestly, for real. I'm excited for you to see her writing style because I've tried to read some dark books after, but it's more like, I think her writing style is so compelling to me.
Okay.
Because it's like her ability, like her world building and her dialogue. Like when you said that there was like heavy world building, I'm just like, I want a book where I have to reference a map so bad.
Oh yeah, you're gonna love this because here's the map for this for you to see it. But
see, love that.
This is all of the courts. I guess I can show you guys too, right? Okay. The world's not super complex, obviously, but, reference a map, see where you're at, and you'll go right into it.
I'm so excited.
You'll like her writing. Okay. If you want something that's a little bit more in-depth and complex, like when I tell you there's no word that she says that does not mean something or need to, it's always important later on. And then I started noticing that when I was reading this series, and then also when I read Throne of Glass, so I'm like, Sarah, you sneaky girl, like you're always finding a way to make this make sense, because sometimes her chapters just run and you're like, girl, do you need to put all this detail in here? Yeah. But then after the fact, you're like, oh, this is why she said this, or this is what this means, and I'm like, yes, I love that. Like, it's so much detail.
Okay, I love that, because it's just like, I love an author where you're reading it and you're just like, what is she trying to do to me right now? Yeah. I'm like, I'm just like, I need to have like a parasocial relationship with the author. Yep. In my thoughts only, because I'm not about to bug this girl. But like,
exactly.
Literally in my thoughts, I'm just like, where to go? Like, what are we doing here? No, I love her.
There's 5 books for you to read on this.
I love that.
And I don't know when the last few are going to come out. Yes. But what I will warn you is that she switches her writing style on the novella. So there's the 4th book is the novella, which is A Court of Frost and Starlight. Excuse me. I'm blanking on what it is. But anyway, that's like a tiny, almost 200-page novella. And then she switches between 3rd person and 1st person in that. And then A Court of Silver Flames, she is total 3rd person in that. Okay. And it's a completely different character direction. Okay. So it's very interesting. And there's a lot of theories on
why she does
where that's going to go, where the rest of the series is going to take us. So.
Do you think it'll be like a movie?
So if it was a movie or a TV show, because I've seen so many people speculate it as well, I feel like it would have to be superly high produced, because if not, it can go so corny. Because anytime you introduce like heavy magic and fae, like, you know how I mean? Like, it can get so corny. So if it's not done right.
Yeah, I feel like I had that same experience with the Libra Degree series, like the Shadow and Bone series. Yeah. Because I love, because they tried to put Six of Crows and Labor and Shadow and Bone into like one, because they intersect kind of in passing, a little bit here and there. They tried to put both of them in one series, and and like the Netflix series. Yeah. No, because I'm just like, you're messing with my timelines right now. You're doing events like that happened way differently. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know. It was a whole thing, but I learned to enjoy it separately from the series, but you can't, if you're a diehard fan and you're just like...
You're like, this is not supposed to happen this way.
Yeah, if it means, like, everything to you, I would go into the series very cautiously because I was watching it and I was like, what is going on?
From my experience, I typically like watching something first and then reading it because you get the book is always so much better than the show. So it's like I won't maybe judge the show so harshly, and I could be like, okay, I kind of liked it or whatever, and then I'll read the book and be like, this is so much better. Like this is amazing. You know what I mean? And from my experience doing that, I've always been able to keep them separate. But if I read and then watch, I'm going to rip that show like up.
Okay,
I'm gonna tear it up. Like I hate when they do that and like don't follow the storyline.
Oh my god, I would love to like do a critique. Once you get through the Shadow and Bone series, I would love to do like a critique of the show with you.
Let's do it. That's gonna be our next show, or for you guys to tune in on.
I have so many feelings about it. I have such strong feelings about it.
Okay, then I definitely have to do it. So 100%. And the books are really tiny, so I'm pretty sure I can finish them in like a month.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And also, there's like a character in the Shadow and Bone series, well, and throughout the Grishaverse called the Darkling. So I think that is going to appeal to you.
Okay. Okay.
For sure. Oh, yeah, it's so good.
Okay, well, I think the verdict is that we'll both probably be reading each other's book series.
Definitely.
And then you guys can stay tuned for when I finish The Shadow and Bone and we talk about that. And then even if I finish Ninth House, we'll probably have a discussion about that too. So
I recommend it.
Thank y'all for watching.